Monogamy has failed all of us. Anybody born after the year 2000 will no longer be able to be in a successful monogamous relationship. Now, people call me a pessimist. People call me just a guy that generalizes most relationships or whatever, like all these like liberal left terms. Yeah, monogamy has failed us. Whether you're a guy or a girl, monogamy has failed you and me. Right? I'm born in 2004. If you're born after the year 2000, maybe even a bit before that, monogamy has failed you. The whole idea has failed you. Now, the only thing you can do in this situation, well, I'll explain why it doesn't work. Because the way monogamy works, monogamy is very similar to an empire, right? An empire. Let's go back to Genghis Khan or Alexander the Great. I love Alexander. I might be related to him. Who knows? But Alexander the Great's empire, I don't know too much about him, but let's just break it down. Let's make it simple. His empire was a series of trust networks, right? You have nodes, and each node was a person. At the top of the pyramid, the top node, the king, was Alexander. Then he had maybe his advisors, then his generals, and his soldiers. Yeah, so what was I saying? My phone died. But yeah, monogamy, it's like an empire, right? You have your structure of, your generals, your soldiers, whatever I just said. Now, the only thing holding this whole thing together is trust. And even more importantly, is hierarchy. Who has more authority? The higher you go, you have authority, and that's why the thing stays afloat. Now, what happens when the guy with the most power dies? The king dies. Alexander, he died. What happened after he died? The minute after he died, the whole thing went to shit. The whole thing, thousands and thousands of miles or acres of land, his reputation of him being a god, because, obviously back in the day, people didn't have like a clear image. Like if you're living miles away and you heard about some conqueror, Alexander, people believed he was a god. People thought he was some enigmatic figure, some magical being. He wasn't. He was just a human being. But because of that, that's not even the important part. The fact is, the minute he died, the whole thing went to shit. I'll stop having this light shine on me. There you go. The whole thing went to shit. Same thing with Genghis Khan. The same giant network of people, the same giant trust networks, right? The minute the top dog, not the top dog, but the guy with the authority died, the whole thing went to shit. His kids couldn't handle it, right? The guy with the authority, the guy with the ability, the guy with the say in the whole trust network, it went to shit. Now, modern relationships between you and your little girlfriend, they're also the same thing. It's just a trust network between two people. You and your girlfriend, or if you're a girl watching this, you and your boyfriend. I guess if you're a homosexual, if you're gay, guy or girl, then I guess you have it easier because I guess the dynamics are different. I don't know. I'm a heterosexual male, so I can only speak for this from this angle, and maybe a little bit from the female perspective because I only date women. But yeah, monogamy is impossible because now I could go through the reason why this trust network doesn't work. But again, you might think it's much more simpler, that it's just a trust network between two people, but that's all it takes. The fact that there's only two people in this empire, this little empire between you and your little girlfriend, it simplifies its destruction so much more. In an empire, you have thousands of people. You have all these networks, all these nodes. Unless you take out the top dog, it's going to stay afloat. In a relationship, it's only two people. It only takes one person to fuck up, make a mistake, and the whole thing goes out the window. Ever think about that? And in the modern day, okay, let's say back in the 1800s, right? Let's say you lived in Europe in the 1800s. I'm not. My history is not that good, but times weren't that bad. I mean, I guess you had some like revolutions and stuff, and things weren't good, but you could live. It wasn't like pure famine, pure death, pure like starvation, getting mauled by giant velociraptors. It wasn't like that. You had houses, you had people, you had structures, you had jobs. Stuff happened. You had wars. If I was in the 1800s in Europe, in some city in Europe, and I went away to fight, or I got told to be a farmer or live in the mountains to chop wood for like 6 weeks straight by my boss, or just because I needed to feed my family or just make some sort of money, and I had a wife or a girlfriend who stayed in the village or in the hometown, and I would see her whenever I went back, and the fact is, she would have like a attraction to me, not because of what I'm doing is so masculine, it's because there's no other guy around. All the other guys are also gone doing the same shit as me. Their little girlfriend is sitting at home waiting with my girlfriend. It's just a town full of girls waiting, right, whilst all the dudes are gone, doing what they gotta do. And I would come home and I would look forward to seeing my one girlfriend because that's all I know. Monogamy works in that environment because the world was built like that. And you could look at me and go, oh, you're a bad person in the modern day. You're degenerate. And from my other videos and my stories and the way they've, look, all I've done is adapted. I'm a cactus. I've just grown spikes for 2020 and 2025. I've adapted. The modern day is not built for monogamy. You gotta adapt. Now I'll make another in-depth video why monogamy doesn't work, but that's my whole point. You gotta fucking adapt. I'm sorry. That's just news. There's no right way to conduct relationships because in the animal kingdom, one lion doesn't stick with another lioness for the rest of his life unless he's in a fucking enclosure. Then they're both slaves. The lion does his thing and just runs off. It doesn't matter if it's a lion, a chimp, a gator. I don't know how gators mate, but if you just focus on mammals, that's how it is. Cats, dogs. Again, I'm not particularly... I do have respect for some religions on earth, and I do believe in some of them. But again, I just think we're just humans at the end of the day. Monogamy, it's failed us. And I'd love to... I like monogamy. It's fun. With the right person. The right person's a very, very important term. But with the right person, monogamy can feel great. But in the modern world, we're open to so much influence from all directions. Like, your girl could watch a show on Netflix that's trending because TikTok recommended, or every chick she knows is watching it, and now it's like the trendy thing to talk about on TikTok. And in the show, the main character is some Ethiopian guy. Now she suddenly has a thing for skinny Ethiopian guys. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do if you're a guy who looks like me, or you're a guy who is not an Ethiopian guy? What are you gonna do? These little nuances, they make a difference. And if you meet enough girls, you'll realize that a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them are open to so much random fucking influence, from their makeup to the way they think, or the dating shows they watch that affects the way they date, and how to treat their own parents. Like, there's so many nuances. Now, of course, guys, we're not perfect. I'm not saying we're better. We go through the same shit. We have all this content. Like, when we were young, we were exposed to pornography, right? We were exposed to. Thank God, I got onto NoFap at 16. So I found out pornography at 14, and at 16, I cut it all off. Obviously, I relapsed countless times, but I was always on the battle against pornography, and now I'm 21, so that thing's completely gone. But it wasn't long after I got into NoFap at 16 that I managed to defeat pornography. But there's so many modern day influences that fuck up this one thing, and monogamy just failed us. It's not doing you any favors. Now, if you find the right person, I just don't think it works. There's no the one. It doesn't exist. We're just fucking mammals. So obviously, if you're in a relationship with somebody, don't dump them. Don't do anything. I don't want to hurt anybody. Keep doing what you're doing. But take this video. Watch this video with your girlfriend. Have a conversation. Talk about it. Maybe you guys might come to a conclusion that you both deep down wanted to happen, but didn't have the balls to say it until I came along. So you guys watch this video. You and your girlfriend, and both of you can watch it. Maybe you'll learn something. But that's all I gotta say, man. I'll make another video about monogamy, but I'm against monogamy. Like, every monogamous person I know he just goes through bullshit. Like, in my age, I'm 21. I have friends who are like older, 25. It doesn't work anymore, man. Even if you're older than that, even if you were born earlier than the year 2000, 1990, if you're 35 years old, you're probably in the same fucking bullshit market. No, same market as me, but same market situation, the way it is. It's just how it is. Adapt. Fucking adapt. Now, and to adapt, you gotta be... Thing is, not every guy... This adapting thing is a very, very good filtering system, like survival of the fittest. You really have to be attractive and be the guy that's pushing himself and gets the attention from most girls. Because if you really do think about it, there's only a select few guys going through all the girls that are putting themselves out there. Because again, not all girls are attractive. Not all girls are sexually active. So it's a whole thing, but it's a massive filtering system. And most guys are virgins, I'll be real. Like, if you're watching this, you're like 20. Chances are you or another guy who's the same age as you, or in your friend group is a fucking virgin. I know a guy who's almost 22 and he's a virgin. I'm not surprised if I were to show you what he looks like and the way he behaves. But a lot of guys are like that. Some you might not even believe. Some willfully, some are willingly, but that's probably not you. I know guys who are. That's probably not you watching this video. Or, if you're watching this video, you're probably a G and you're probably a cool guy and you probably have, good game and we're just like bouncing ideas off each other. But there might be some guys who are complete virgins and, they like to tell themselves they're doing it by choice. But if they could, they would lose it. But, just gotta face the music, man. Just face the facts and just live in the real world. I think that's like how I live. And it's just pretty simple. Monogamy has failed everybody, and just don't chase something that doesn't exist. Bigfoot, I'm sorry, brother. She ain't real. He ain't real. Whatever. Aliens are real. But Bigfoot, nah. Might as well go chase an alien, which is just living the way you want. But Bigfoot, monogamy, it's a myth. It worked back when times were different, when wars were happening, dick was scarce, pussy was scarce. It's pretty simple. I know it sounds derogatory, but when men and women were like scarce to each other, where like you found somebody, you loved them because that person was scarce. You knew your husband, your boyfriend was gonna go to war or gonna go work for many months, and there's not gonna be another dude around, so he was the only one you had to focus on. Let's say when you're 17 and you fall in love with your little girlfriend when you're 17 years old. You don't like her for who she is. You like her because you've built an attachment to that person. Because you're young. That's the first person you've ever met that you've allowed yourself to express yourself to. The reason why you're so much in love with them at 17 is because you've just attached yourself to them. Back in the day, you could attach yourself to somebody. Now we have so many options. You cannot attach yourself to one person. It's impossible. I'm sorry, it's impossible. So I don't have an answer for you. I'm not gonna say hoe around because most of you can't, and it's not a feasible thing, and nor is monogamy. So I don't know what to tell you, but monogamy is not gonna work for you. It's just not. It's fucked. It is fucked, but it's not fucked because the world is the world. The way the world is the way it is. 200 years ago, I could be like, oh yeah, and the world is fucked, and 500 years before that, I could still be like, oh, the world is fucked, and 1,000 years from now, I could still be like, the world is fucked. The world's always gonna be fucked. Not really the case. You just gotta adapt. I've adapted pretty fucking well. That's why I'm enjoying my life. Tea time. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to hear me talk about this stuff in the same manner, feel free to subscribe and just stay tuned for more. Already 11 minutes. This video's going to be like 12, 13 minutes. Kind of long, but hope you enjoyed it. Watch this video with your girlfriend. Let me know what you think. Message me on Instagram. Start conversation. That's the whole point of these videos. I'm trying to talk to more people. Like, let's have a conversation. You never know who you might meet. I hope you have a good day. Peace.